This is my rendition of Queen Nzinga. Queen Nzinga was an African queen, a very powerful woman. So powerful that she single-handedly ran the Portuguese out of Africa. There was a meeting they were having, and Queen Nzinga had no chair to sit on, so she asked one of her servants to stay on her two hands and knees, and she used her as a chair. Very powerful woman. In history, she's made her mark. But mostly I'm here today to illustrate a technique used by Rembrandt. Rembrandt used a technique he called chiaroscuro, which is a technique that brings light, almost as though he was trying to play with the lights, and he used that in many of his paintings. And one of the characteristics of that is the effect of light, the way he played it. In fact, today, lighting in a movie set is utilized in that same method, chiaroscuro method, which gives you light, and it sort of plays with your light source. As you can see in this painting of the Queen Nzinga, the light source is coming from here. So the majority of this side has all the lighting effect, and usually that lightens up with a hue color, which is, for example, colors that sort of bring the the painting, excuse me, more to the foreground. And this perhaps tight close-up there, you might be able to see what I'm doing in terms of not only creating character with the light effects, but bringing forth the important features that makes this woman, the power that she possesses, out from the canvas to as though it's all coming at you, you know, in a real life. So I try not to play too much on the side where I wish to remain dark, because otherwise it wouldn't be chiaroscuro. It would be school. So this is my rendition of Queen Nzinga. This is a commission portrait, which one of the wishes of the person commissioning this painting is to make her different in all the paintings that have been made. And oftentimes the artist is given this authority, which is a good thing, because in art we have to have authority to change, to make better, or to recreate, if you will. So this is my rendition of Queen Nzinga, an African queen whom had some extraordinary treaty with the Portuguese, and for which she is famous. This is a close-up of the technique, which is one of the most important part here. And as you can see, the elevation of all her features are brought forward with highlighting certain parts of her face, which gives her, as you can see, I'm not sure if you can see, as I play with the white, if you will, the light effects of certain parts of her body, of her face, that gives her that sense of not Baroque, but almost Baroque type, because in Baroque period they played a lot with the light effects, right? So, and of course after doing this, there is this technique that you use to blend the colors in, right? Let me put a tight shot as I try to give you an example of the blends. And it's a technique that's you ever so lightly moving your brush so that it captures texture of your skin tones, so that way you are creating a sense of skin or flesh tone, eliminating the rough textures to make your painting look as though it was sprayed on or something. It came this way from some factory, when in fact it was done by your very, very hand. And the end result is this. So, and it's sort of, it's a beautiful sense. It makes you feel as though you're capturing the skin texture. As you can see, I'm not wiping the brush across my work. I am merely stumping it over the work, leaving behind some of the textures that some parts you need to sort of blend, but you are leaving behind some of the textures of your painting to give it that sense of unity, if you will. This is a sense of unity. This is some of the techniques utilized by the masters, and you know, I'm often very happy when I can share some of my techniques, which I've used and learned from school. And yes, this is I'm very pleased with the end result of this painting, especially when you are given a task to do and you choose to do it without looking at the actual picture of the person, and you idealize the painting by making Queen Nzinga, for example. In my case, I've placed this sort of a royal piece to say I am a queen, because oftentimes anyone can wear a crown. But when you have a scepter, I believe this is called, to show a level of power. I have the power to rule. I can control, you know, and that's very important. And a small rendition of some techniques, and in the display of light, how important it is, and how it is applied, you know, how important lighting becomes in a painting, because oftentimes people wonder, well, how did you do that? It looks like a camera did it, but it's really a question of application of the work. It's how you apply your painting that renders a painting realistic. Because mind you, I'm not attempting to achieve realism here, because realism is a totally different ball game. Realism takes you to a totally different category, and I try to stay away from being realistic. Very important, because realism falls into, well, anyone can shoot a camera, right? So if I wanted to try for realism, I would go find a camera somewhere and shoot, you know. And notice it's very important, the shadow that sort of makes her head elevates. And it's a good trick to lock into, because as you play with this painting, you are also, one of the most key elements in a woman's painting is her lips. And the lips have to be almost tuckered in, but giving her that quality of loyalty. Because in loyalty there was a way they held their lips. And to make a woman, to render a woman beautiful, oftentimes you have to give her certain tonality in certain places to make her lip give you that almost Mona Lisa expression, right? And it usually helps with this shadow just in the right place. And usually that's the key element to a painting. Putting things just in the right place. You know, sometimes it is difficult because you know it is very difficult at times. But if you apply the techniques that have already been placed before you by the masters, well, oftentimes you can't go wrong. This was Patrick Noze with my rendition of Queen Nzinga of Africa. And this is probably the second stage, and there's a lot more to go, because being chiaroscuro, I have done the part that is wet, sort of dry, and now I'm applying wet. This is pure mixed wet oil paint, which is bringing out the effect, the true oil quality of this painting. And when it's done, it should really be a shocking painting, especially when it is varnished and framed with all the details on the crown, etc. And it should be an exciting, gives you a feeling of peace and romanticism. So this is it. I thank you. This was Patrick Noze.